Thank you for having me. We're listening to Bravo Zulu Radio, and we are at
Harmon's BBQ in Cibolo, Texas.
All right. So the last time you and I met was a year ago Thanksgiving.
That's right.
And I saw in the paper that you guys had done a tremendous thing for the community, and I wanted to come out, and you entertained my daughter and I. And so
And you came after all the crowds had left, so you came at a good time.
Right. Well, they were still cleaning up.
Oh yeah, everything was still going on, but yeah, last year we set a record serving over 700 meals. And we did over 300 deliveries to the homebound and first responders, and then had everybody else here in the restaurant. So, and we had live music, we had the football games going. It was just, it's a good fun time. People enjoy it. And it's a sad thing this year that we can't do it that way.
Right. So we're in beautiful Cibolo, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the restaurant's been here for
10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been here a little bit longer than 10 years now, because this is our 9th year of doing this. I'm thinking it's closer to 15 years the restaurant's been here. But we were going to do it 10 years ago. We planned on doing it, and the restaurant burnt down right before Thanksgiving. And so we had to wait a year in order to have it rebuilt and everything, and then we went ahead and did it again. Did our first Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was fun times.
All right. When you say this, you're talking about the annual Give Back Dinner.
It is the annual Give Back Thanksgiving dinner. It's just a way that we decided we wanted to give something back to the community. I met Ray Harmon when he first opened the restaurant here.
The owner.
He's the owner.
Okay.
And him and his partner, at the time, his name was Ronnie Ruiz. He passed away a few years ago. We got together, we were just sitting up front. And it was, Ray always kept up front a big box at Christmas time for the Blue Santa in order to put gifts in it for the kids in the area.
Right.
So he'd get the box and I'd fill it up, and then they'd take it and dump it, and he'd fill it up, and then I'd come back and I'd fill it up again. And so we just had a race to see who could fill it up the most. And it was just our way, and I like doing it. I like giving away stuff. And then we got a little bit more involved with the Blue Santa, but it only helps a few people, and you really don't see the people you're helping.
The impact.
That's it, because you're just donating gifts, and you don't see the looks on the kids' faces or anything like that when they get the gifts.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we came up with an idea of trying to do something more for the people around here, and that's when we came up with the idea of a Thanksgiving dinner. But it was a deal strictly for Cibolo. We didn't want to go very far just in Cibolo because of the fact that's where the Blue Santa was. So we knew there was a lot of families here in Cibolo that needed some help. And so when we started the dinner, it was for people that otherwise wouldn't have a Thanksgiving dinner. First year we had about 90 people here. Second year, maybe 100 people showed up. And then I just wasn't getting the response I thought I would get. Mm-hmm. And so I checked with all the local churches, and I checked with the food bank here and the social workers here, and they told me it was because people weren't coming because of the fact it was for people that wouldn't have a Thanksgiving dinner. And they were embarrassed to show up because they didn't want to be looked down upon. Right. And it never dawned on me, that had. So that's when we changed it. We said, forget about that. It's open
it
to
up. Right.
And so we brought in Marion. We expanded over into Marion, and then we expanded into Shirts. And it went. We'd have about 300 people and come in, but it just took a little while for word to get out.
Right.
And then last year, 2 years ago, we hit 500 meals. And, oh man, I was ecstatic. My dream though was 700 meals. Ever since this first started, 700 meals was my dream. And last year we hit the 700 meals. So I got Ray opens up his restaurant Thanksgiving Day. He cooks everything, he prepares everything, and I provided everything. And so what we did as it grew, we came up with the idea of reaching out to the community, trying to get some of the local businesses involved in this, because it is a community effort.
Right.
We have volunteers from the community here, and so we did. We started getting some of the sponsors to sponsor some of the items we're serving. But we'd go, I think we got maybe 4 or 5 sponsors last year, which we appreciated every bit of it. I mean, anything you can get, helps out. We're not a nonprofit. We didn't want to go that way as a nonprofit.
Right. I think we talked about that a little last year.
Yeah, and it's not. I just don't want to do it. I just, it's nothing we were trying to do. But what we did is had a good time last year, and then this year we were hoping for the same thing, but with COVID, we can't do it. And so it's
changed everything.
We were thinking about not even doing it this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I started getting phone calls, and it's from people that we do every year, that we deliver to, and they are expecting the meal every year. I mean, and that's the joy of talking to people, and it's all from the senior citizens complex. It's from the assisted living, and they come up and they say, "Oh, I just love it so much. I can't wait till Thanksgiving when I get that free meal." And we do a complete everything. We do the turkey, the dressing, the yams, green beans, cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes with gravy, dinner roll, and pumpkin pie.
Make me hungry.
So,
well, it's what I said last year. That I was very excited about the fact that you had done it. I wanted to recognize you. It was the very first time we had ever done a remote broadcast. We've been on the air now over a year, and so the program's doing gangbusters. And I told you last year, I wanted to do everything I could to help increase the number of meals that you had going out. And so I remember that the main reason for it was it had to do with the fire. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the fire, I mean, it came right at a couple of days before Thanksgiving. And what Ray does is Ray cooks. A lot of people will bring him their turkeys, or he sells whole turkeys that he smokes out here for them. And he was still cooking some, and the fire destroyed some. And people would drive by, because we set up tables outside to help with the turkeys he had, because he was going to make sure nobody didn't have a turkey for Thanksgiving because of the fire. And so people went to the store and bought turkeys and brought it over here, and he started cooking turkeys to make up for the ones that we lost in the fire. And it was a good thing, to come out and help the community like that. But it did. I mean, that's one reason. That's one of the things I think Ray likes doing. And just give back to the community. This is his business. He's here, and
he doesn't like the microphone. That's why he puts you. You're the point man, right?
He cooks. As soon as I drove up today, he's driving out. So you will never get him behind the microphone.
But the genesis was the fact that after the fire, he saw that so many people had given back, and he wanted to.
Well, that's just Ray. Ray wanted to try to give something back. That's why we got together and decided to do something, for the community here. And like I said, it's expanded quite a bit. I mean, we could really blow this thing up if we wanted to, but we don't. We want to keep it, like it is. We don't want it to grow up and be a Jimenez type deal with 25,000 people here that lose sight of what it originally was intended for. And that's the same thing here. This year, we're doing 1,500 meals this year.
That's awesome. So tell me about the logistics of it. So anybody can come.
Anybody can come. What we're doing first is, I've been out for the last month and a half talking to all the churches again. I go by the social workers. I go to the senior center. I hit all the low-income housing area units out here, leaving flyers, drop off our flyers, and let everybody know we're doing it, and that if they need a delivery, we will deliver it to them. And that's my first responsibility. Like I said, we had over 300 deliveries last year, and this year it's going to be the same, if not more. But when we get all the meals first, Ray and them are going to start putting the meals together back here, Thanksgiving morning. And first thing is, if I have 400 deliveries, the first 400 meals we do are being set aside for delivery. Because I promised them they were getting a meal, they are getting a meal.
Right.
I'm not going to serve another plate out on the street until my 400 are taken and set aside.
Okay.
Once we have that, we're going to send probably 600 meals over to Shirts and drop those off at the Shirts Community Center. And then we'll be doing the rest here, and it's just going to be a curbside service.
So literally, you're gonna be taking up the whole main street.
We're going to be, well, that's what we're afraid of. So we've been warning the city.
That's right. You coordinated with the city.
Well, we told the mayor, and it'll be all right. So we'll see.
Right.
But Shirts is taking it a little bit more serious than here.
Right.
And the mayor and his wife last year were a tremendous help. He had just been elected and stuff, and he came over to help, and he spent all day. Him and his wife were here from morning till 2 o'clock, and when we shut down, in the back room doing meals to go. And they were tremendous help. So I called them this year because I knew we were going to need a place somewhere in Shirts because we couldn't handle it here.
Right.
The traffic would be, forget it, you couldn't do it here. Cibolo ain't that big.
Right.
And so they offered the community center. And so the mayor's wife, Raquel, she's heading that up over there for me.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, I got a meeting with her after here. And so they're going all out. They got the community center, they got the police involved, they're putting up tents over there so in case it rains or something, the people can just drive up and the workers will be under the tents. They have 2 lines going in, and I said we've worked out a system that we think is really going to work out real good since this is the first time we're doing it. Right. And what we're going to do is have volunteers out front that have post-it notes, notepads of a marker, and they'll go down the line and ask the cars how many meals you need. And if it's 4 meals, they'll write 4, and they'll put it on their windshield. So when they drive up to the front of the building, the people are going to see how many meals they need and just take it straight out to them.
There you go.
So there's going to be a faster way of getting, because I'm afraid the traffic is really going to be backed up here.
Well, luckily there shouldn't be any other traffic on that day.
I
so.
hope. I think everybody's going to see, what's that line? Let's go get in line, you know. And yeah, well, we were thinking 1,500, but 1,500 is all we can do, really. Now Ray does the cooking, him and his crew do the cooking, and he's cooking for the restaurant. He's cooking 40 birds, whole birds for customers, and then he's
almost 40 birds a minute at 1,500. Right?
Oh man, let me tell you, he's going to have all the pits out back going, but no, he's going to have his hands full. And I told Ray, I said, realistically, what can you cook, without passing out on me, right? Just keeling over. And so he said he could do enough for 1,500 people.
That's amazing.
And we thought we were going to take it up to 1,800, but then we backed off that and said
better to do
1,500 and get that out. And if we run out, we run out.
So you were telling me that I mean, what a crazy year since you and I met. Mm-hmm. It's incredible how fast everything happened. So you were telling me, so in essence, things have changed so much, and now you said there are people that you talk to that wouldn't have normally even considered something like this. Right?
Oh yeah. This thing here has really, I mean, it's grown. It's grown into something that I've never. Everybody out here tries to do a small little version of what we're doing out here, and people over here are trying to put a Thanksgiving dinner on and stuff. But this one here has become a community thing. I mean, the families and stuff, and they are really. Like I said, I wish I could play you some recordings I have of people leaving messages. I got the sweetest one, an 85-year-old lady. She's calling up, and this is her 4th year. And she started out coming into the restaurant. Now we've been delivering to her, but just to hear her voice and how happy she is to get this meal delivered to her,
Well, if you can capture it and you can email it to me, I can put it on the air.
I don't know if she wants it. I'll do that. I saved some of them because it's just so sweet to hear these people talking, and it pulls at your heartstrings. It really does. And really, that's the whole thing about this is, Ray and I are not doing this for recognition. We could care less if our names are even mentioned at all. And it's just the idea that we're trying to help people, and this is just our way of giving back. That's why it's called a Give Back Thanksgiving Dinner. And so, we're not putting it on, the TV. We're not advertising everywhere, and it's a community thing.
No trumpets, but we're going to help out as much as we can.
That's it, and like I said, this year, hopefully next year we can get back into the restaurant. This is nice, but it's getting too big, and that's if there was a local, if it got bigger, we could still keep it here, but maybe expand into the church next door, or we even talked to, if the weather's good, putting tents up, all outside in the parking lot in the back, just putting tents up and tables and stuff, and still having people here. Like I said, we fed over 400 in the restaurant. You got to get them in and get them out, and
no loitering.
That's it. And you get so many people sitting back here listening to the music, so you got to get going. Come on, we need your table. Quit listening. That's it. But I got some from the senior center that they come over here and they'll stay 3 hours because they just love it. They just sit over here and they have their own little group, and they'll sit right here, and they love the music. And every year we have Ruben V come out and play, and he'll come out here with his guitar and just sit there and sing for an hour and entertain the people. We're going to look at, and my goal is to get local talent out here, whether it's a choir group or some kids with a guitar or anything. Just come out here, sit down and play some music, and just get let them sing out here for 15, 20 minutes. Give them their fame, let them try, and give them a shot. And that's it. People are going to enjoy it. I mean, one year we had the elementary kids drew placemats for everybody in here. And you had a personalized, from one kid, they had their handprint, and then pictures they drew, and everybody that sat down got a placemat that the kids had drawn in the kindergarten. So, like I said, it's a community deal.
Well, Ray, Mike, on behalf of you and for Ray, Riley Davison, and you know that Bravo Zulu means a job well done, and we thank you for doing that for the community.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Sir.